Hey Star Wars fans, how you doing? My name is John and welcome back to another episode. And in this video I'm going to talk about my experience at the new Star Tours ride at Disneyland. This recently opened up on June 3rd. I attended opening weekend. I got this shirt. It was one of the many things I picked up that weekend. This is an exclusive shirt. It says Disneyland on the left shoulder here. It says Star Wars Launch Collection 2011 on the right shoulder. And you've got the Star Wars opening day exclusive shirt. They only sold this opening day weekend. And most shirts sold out the first day, so I was really excited to get one of these. I'm going to talk about the ride itself, then I'm going to show you kind of a tour of the queue line and what that's about, and I'm going to talk about, then after that I'm going to show you kind of what I picked up after that as well. So now a little bit about Star Tours itself. The original ride started in 1987 at Disneyland. It also was in Disney World, it was Tokyo Disney, and Disneyland Paris. And it's a motion ride. In case you guys have never been on Star Tours, it's a motion ride where you get in and you see a screen and it moves to the screen. It's really cool. It sits about 40 plus people, and there was Rex was the captain, voiced by the character who played Pee Wee Herman. And it was one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. I remember going to Disneyland a lot growing up, and that would be like the first ride I would go on. So once I found out that Star Tours, they're actually making a new one, they called Star Tours The Adventures Continue, I was really stoked. And not only that, but there's 54 combinations of the ride, whereas the original Star Tours was just one ride. You go to the original Death Star and you go into the trenches, and it was pretty much the same thing every time. This attractions, there's 54 different combinations. When you go on the ride itself, the queue line is not that much different than the original queue line, to be honest with you. That was a little bit of disappointment. They did add some really nice features, which you'll see later on in this video. If you look to your right when you're going around the corner, you'll see the old Rex captain pilot, and he's kind of, he's broken, and you can kind of hear him talk. It's really cool. So it's a throwback to the original Star Tours. There's hidden Mickey ears as well, a couple hidden Mickeys in the queue line. But the ride itself is awesome. The first two sequences, and first of all, it's in 3D, so that was a huge plus. It's 3D. Now when you start the ride, you have the whole story is C-3PO is in the Starspeeder 1000, and he is kind of trying to fix it or talk to the computer, and he gets trapped into the captain's seat. So he doesn't intentionally want to be there, but he's there. So C-3PO is there in your captain's seat. So he's kind of your pilot in the whole series. So when the thing actually starts up, there's two different opening sequences. You either have Darth Vader will come to you, and he will there's a rebel spy. So and then they'll take a picture of a random passenger out of 40 people, and they'll say this person is a rebel spy. The really cool thing is, though, the technology, it knows if it's a guy or girl. So Darth Vader will say he or she, depending on what the picture's of. Actually, the 11 times I rode the ride, I was actually a rebel spy twice. My brother was a rebel spy once, so it was pretty cool to see myself on the screen in 3D, and that was really neat. But Darth Vader is there, and he uses the Force. He moves around the ride and all that. It was pretty neat. And there's another sequence where they have like a droid that scans you. And it kind of after that, you leave the transport where you're at, you dock, and you have to go into hyperspace. So it's a little different sequence. There's 3 opening planets you can start off with. There's Tatooine, where you're in the Tatooine, and you're in basically the pod race scene, and you're in a pod race scene, and you're kind of going through. And that's probably the most rare scene. I saw it only about once, maybe twice, 11 times I rode this ride. The most common ones seem to be Kashyyyk, and you go to the planet of the Wookiee planet. And it's almost like the Star Speeders, or not Star Speeders, almost like the speeder bikes in the Endor moon, So you're basically going through the forest and kind of watching. It's cool because the Wookiee hits the screen, and it's really neat. The 3D factor is cool. And the nice thing about the 3D thing is the 3D is very subtle. It's not over the top 3D, so it added to it. It just didn't really distract from it, which was really nice to see. And the third planet is actually Hoth, and that's another one that didn't really pop up very often, and that was really neat because you're in Hoth and you have the AT-ATs you have to go against, and there's one point you're over a cliff and you're hanging there, and that was an awesome scene. After you go to the first planet, there's 3 different holograms that may appear. You either get Leia, who appeared the least, you get Yoda, voiced by Frank Oz, which was awesome, and you get Admiral Akbar, and they'll basically talk about the rebel spy, and they'll give you coordinates or give C-3PO coordinates to go to this third planet. There's 3 other planets that you can get a choice from to wrap it up. Basically, you have a Coruscant, where you're going through kind of the traffic, you're going against traffic, and it's pretty much chaos, and that's a really fun one. You have Naboo, which is probably one of my favorite ones. You go underwater, you go on the Gungan planet, and then the third option for the planet was the second Death Star, and you're basically in a space battle, and that was cool. So there's two different openings, 3 opening planets. There's 3 different holograms, and there's 3 final ending planets. And basically, what it does, it's random. It just mismatches them all, and so every time you ride the ride, it's completely different. So it was a lot of fun. So let's check out my experience going through the queue line and checking out the ride.